Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to episode 61 of the Drop It podcast. This podcast is tailor-made for those of you with weight to lose, those of you that are losing weight now, and those of you that are bathing in the success of your weight loss accomplishment. If it's your first time on the show, welcome. I'm Nick Geoppo. I'm your host. I lost 110 pounds after a lifetime of losing and gaining 50 plus pounds every single year on every single diet that you, me, or anyone in the world has ever heard of, ever tried, or ever even considered trying. Now it's been almost 6 years since I've lost the weight and actually kept the weight off. So I'm speaking to you not from a place of theory, but from a place of having actually done it in a way that is sustainable, in a way that doesn't suck, in a way that doesn't consume my life, and in a way where I have complete control over food instead of it being the other way around. If you're listening on Spotify or Apple, then you're not going to see video. The last 9 or so episodes have been on video on YouTube, and we don't have a large following there. But for those of you watching on YouTube, you're going to see that I'm eating during this podcast. And the reason why is to normalize the concept of eating in around other people. A lot of us here on the show, listening to the show, have really different eating patterns and habits when we're alone versus when we're with other people. So feel free to pay attention to the way that I'm speaking and eating and interacting with my food. This is something that you can practice on your own as well when you're out socializing or when you're just alone. You can watch my pace. You can watch the way that I interact with the food. You can watch the way that I slow down when I eat. These are all things that I learned and things that I actually work with my clients on as well. I mean, if you're in a position where you want to lose weight and keep it off, the way that I did it is with something called the Common Sense Diet System. It worked for me. It works for a bunch of other people too. If you want to see if it's the right solution for you, go ahead and click the link in the description of this podcast episode or YouTube video and book a call with me directly, not some cheesy fucking hired salesperson. I'll literally walk you through step by step exactly what I do for other people, what I did for myself. You can let me know if you think it's something that would work for you as well. If you book the call, talk to you soon. Lastly, if you're watching on YouTube, you'll see I'm in a new place and the lighting here is god awful. So still in the process of figuring that out. It's interesting, those of you that have been following for some time, the first 45 episodes, well, the first 50 or so episodes of this podcast were just audio. And when I'm filming just audio, it's easy. Like I could be standing in the kitchen with just a microphone set up and there's no getting dressed. There's no making anything look right. And I found that as I started getting on video, this podcast has become a little bit less fun for me. Not because of the video, but because I've just wanted to, for some reason, I've tried becoming more formal on these fucking podcasts, which is starting to drive me a little bit up the wall. And it's not what I want. It's taken 3% of the fun out of it for me. And I never listened to my own podcasts. So I never, ever, ever listened to my own podcasts. And I went back and listened to a few of the first 10 or 20, and then a few of the 30 to 40, and then a few of the ones in the 50s. And I could hear in my own tonality and authenticity just a little bit of more formal tone. And it's not what I want to bring to this show. So I love that I had some time to go back and listen to those episodes and see that was happening. My commitment to you as a listener to this podcast is for me to have as much fucking fun as I can filming in recording, because that's when my truest self comes out. And that's when the medicine that you are looking for around mindfulness, practical eating tips that are going to save your fucking life so that you don't die of some bullshit that could have been prevented should we have just practiced some of these things that nobody talks about. That's when that tone of slight sarcasm and no shit common sense comes out. And that's actually the best part of this show. And it's so fucking healing for me tapping into that, because that's what this journey was like for me as well. So my commitment to you is I'm going to get back to having 110% fun filming these without having all these episodes be 3 steps to this and 5 steps to this. Let's just get back to riffing on these podcast episodes so that we can tap into the energy of prioritizing our health in a way that feels good for everybody. I still can't believe it's been 61 episodes. I feel like I just started podcasting, and I'm committed to an entire lifetime of podcasting. So hopefully you'll be listening for 50 plus years. to come, especially if you get your shit together and start prioritizing your health so you can live forever so that we can keep podcasting with each other. The topic of today's podcast episode is comparing yourself to other people. So if you're someone that, because I was my whole fucking life, if you're someone that compares yourself, and I still am in a lot of ways, that compares yourself to other people on your weight loss journey specifically, meaning that you see somebody lose weight and you think, and that triggers something in you. Either I can do better or I can't do that, or you think about the reasons that they could that make that you can't. Like maybe you're a woman and they're a guy, and guys lose weight faster than females. Maybe you're older and they're younger, and younger people can lose weight at a rate that is sometimes more efficient than people that are older. If you think in that sort of way, this is the podcast episode that you're going to want that's going to change your whole perspective. This is exactly the messaging that I wish I had access to when I was fat as fuck, but I didn't. So it led to a lifetime of me losing weight and gaining it back because I never felt like I was doing good enough in comparison to the other people that I didn't even really know in person, just mostly people online that it didn't make sense for me to compare myself to. So pull out a pen, pull out a paper. This isn't a fucking 5 steps to this episode. It's just me riffing on what I actually did for myself to stop comparing myself to other people. And the reason why this is coming up, so for those of you that are listening to this that are not clients of mine, all of my clients are in a community group called the Drop It Community and the Drop It Family. Shout out to the Drop It fam. And there's been a bit of a theme recently of people starting to feel a little bit self-conscious around other people making faster progress than them. So the things that we focus on are practical nutrition advice met with relationship with food and sustainable mindset. If you're a listener to the show or a client of mine, you know that you need to master both of those to actually maintain the results, right? People in my community and my clients of mine have expressed to me that they felt a little bit self-conscious in sharing their losses, things that aren't going well, or sharing their progress that feels slower than other people that are having more progress. So for example, there's some of my clients are very steadily losing 2.5 to 3 pounds per week, week after week, month after month, and making amazing progress on the scale and off the scale. Other ones of my clients are facing a little bit more struggles and a little bit more roadblocks where they're averaging a pound or a pound, 1.3 pounds per week, week after week, month after month, met by a 2 pound week, by a 0 pound week, by a 3 pound week, by a 0.4 pound week, and kind of averaging that pound to pound and a half. And it can be tough sometimes to share that when we're in the vicinity of others that feel like they're making more progress than us. The part that's hard to see when you're in that is that we all have really different things that we are the same but different, right? So a lot of the times we have people that have 40 pounds to lose comparing themselves to people that have 150 pounds to lose. Like obviously we know from zooming out that that doesn't make any logical sense, right? Who am I to say don't compare yourself? We're going to get into that a little bit. But we also have people that are a lot younger or older comparing themselves to people that are a lot older or younger than them. We have women comparing themselves to men. We have people that grew up with eating disorders comparing themselves to people that never had eating disorders. We have people that have felt like their life is controlled by food, followed by people that don't feel the same pull towards food. So when you find yourself comparing yourself to anybody, right? Your favorite fucking bodybuilder or fitness influencer or postmenopausal, I help women over 55 postmenopause lose the 12 pounds so that they can get back to when they were 30, whatever the fuck kind of people you like to listen to. Just really recognize that you probably don't have the same story and the same background as them. If you've listened to all 60 episodes of my podcast, then you know my story very well. And there are elements of comparison that can be really healthy, right? Meaning that comparison is a natural thing. Even jealousy is a natural thing. I used to get jealous of people that were never fat. That's a whole different conversation. But when people would lose weight and I wasn't losing weight, I would get really jealous and just feel like I wasn't enough. And it would make me feel like shit to where I would either just say, fuck it, quit on my journey, overeat, restart again and again and again, or just drastically undereat to try to lose weight as fast as possible, like weight loss was some kind of competition. The first thing you need to know, weight loss is not a competition. The only person that it makes sense for you to compete with is your old self. So this is the most important thing you're going to learn in this episode. You can even maybe stop listening after this piece if you want. This is the biggest piece of medicine you're going to get here. When you find yourself comparing yourself to anyone, including me, right? Well, Nick lost 110 pounds. There were things he did horribly wrong, and then he learned, and then he corrected. And I just keep doing the things horribly wrong, and I can't seem to learn and correct the way that Nick did this way. And these are the stories that I used to tell other people, tell myself about other people that had lost the weight, right? When I started comparing myself to my old self, so I would say, okay, it's it's May of 2019, right? April 2019 is when I had started my last weight loss journey. In May of 2019, I'd start feeling some type of way about this guy online that looked like this. And I'd go, yes, but look at how different I am than I was last month. I'd get to September and be like, last month I was like this month I'm like this. The only person I'm comparing myself to is my previous old self from 4 weeks ago. Not from last week, because it's hard to see changes week to week, but from last month, from 30 days ago. And the only way you can do that, the only way I was able to do that was by properly documenting my journey with video logs. I mean, it's one of the best things that you can do. People ask me all the time how I have so many followers on Instagram. Video yourself losing weight and talking about your journey, and then actually keep doing it. And then you're going to have these crazy before and after videos. The reason why nobody has before and after videos, everyone just has before and after pictures, is because they never put the effort into journaling and logging their journey because they didn't feel that confident that they would actually do it. So practice stepping into and embodying living the lifestyle of someone that knows they're going to keep the weight off. If you knew for a fucking fact, take all of your emotion out of it just for the next 20 seconds. If you knew that you would, say out loud, I know I will lose weight, I know I will keep it off. That probably doesn't feel true all the time. But if it did, what would you do? You would have videos of yourself going, oh, I'm doing it right now. Can't wait to hit my goal. That's what it actually takes to properly document your shit. And when you properly document your shit authentically, meaning that you move in a way that is authentic to you, meaning that you own the parts of the journey that suck. Oh my God, these cravings are kicking my ass. Oh my God, I feel like the pizza's controlling me. Oh my God, I just cheated, but I'm trying to stop using that term because I realize that when I cheat, it throws me off, and then I got to get back on. If I can just step more into common sense and practicing normal portion sizes of these fun foods celebratorily, it won't be like a cheat meal, and then I'll be fine. Start speaking to yourself in that way. Use the common sense terminology if that sounds good to you. You have my permission, right? Journal, even though it's copyrighted. Journal it and film all of it, and then go back at the end of each month and watch your videos from the previous 30 days and look at the progress that you're making, not just on the scale, but off the scale. That's how you compare yourself to somebody that's going to actually benefit you, and it's your old self. The reason why it's going to benefit you is because you're going to realize it's hard to feel the progress that you're making. It's hard to feel the progress. So one of the best things that my clients get from working with me, my one-on-one clients specifically, is I'm checking in on them every single fucking day with voice notes and video notes. So they're seeing, and I'm reminding them of all of the shit that we went through 5, 6, 7, 2, 3, 4 months ago, because you forget. You forget. You're listening to this right now. You people, you know who you are. I'm talking to you, right? You forget that. And I'm here to remind you of the progress that you're making, and to remind you that you've been making progress so steadily. But we don't see that a lot of the times because we're not actually journaling. We're not actually being really mindful about what it is that we're improving at. So that's the best thing you can do. Find yourself comparing yourself to other people. Say out loud, that makes sense that I'm comparing myself to other people. That's a natural human thing. Follow that up with, I choose to compare myself only to myself from 30 days ago. I recognize my proclivity to compare myself to others. I choose to compare myself to my old self, because my old self is the only person that has lived the exact same story as me. And I said on this podcast that I was going to be eating this food. And I haven't eaten anything. I am right now. I'm curious if this microphone quality picks up on me chewing. This is going to be a weird experience for those of you listening. If so, let's bring it back to one of the lessons at the very beginning. You see me getting really passionate, really into speaking with my hands, really into the energy of this is one of my favorite things in the world, right? You can tell that this is one of my favorite things in the fucking world. This is who I am, fully stepping into who I am on this show right now. And there's almost these levels of such flow state that there's like a blackout associated with what I've been talking about for the last 10 minutes, right? And to get into and to channel that flow state, I love this is one of my favorite foods in the world. I forgot that it was even here because I'm so focused on what I'm doing. And that's what you can learn from socializing with other people. When you're in a social environment, what would it look like for you to step into the flow of socializing with other people so much that the food is not actually the priority, right? So when you go to a holiday dinner, Christmas dinner isn't made by the food, it's made by the people. Thanksgiving dinner isn't actually about eating, it's about the people. What would it look like for you to practice having such genuine and authentic conversation with other people about something that you care about or they care about, to where you get into a flow state, you just kind of forget about the food, right? I mean, that's like a lot of relationship with food is finding how to have better relationships with yourself and with other people. You're going to find that you have less of a food addiction issue and more of a just life lack of fulfillment issue. So when you're in a social situation and you're, oh my God, I don't know what to do, I'm focusing on the food. Maybe it's a social situation that you don't even want to be in. Here's what you can say to yourself. What would it look like if I was really curious about these other people? And what you'll find, what I found in my own journey, was that in socializing, even my own friends at the time, I have very different friends than I did when I was losing weight now. But even at the time, I had like my drinking buddies, I had, even my girlfriend, even my fucking girlfriend at the time, right? After I'd lost weight. All these people, I was so focused on food, again, even after I had hit my weight loss goal for like a year or more, that I'd recognize I was never really even that curious about the other people around me. And I actually knew a lot less about the people around me than I thought that I had. And that might even be you with your own family. That might be you with your own husband, your own wife, your own parents, your own kids. What would it look like if you were really curious about them and what they actually love and why they think they're on this planet and what they want for their life and why they don't have it yet and what they're doing to work towards it, and to just like have conversations that actually fucking matter? You're not going to be doing that and then pounding fucking donuts at the same time. You're just not. And that's why I say that weight loss is such a spiritual journey, because it teaches all of these different things. Like, so weight loss podcast, right? Most of what we're talking about has less to do with actually losing weight and more to do with changing who you are as a person. You're never going to keep the weight off if you can't practice and see progress over time by comparing yourself to your old self. See how we're bringing it all back together? In all of these different areas, socializing, connection with yourself, connection with other people, your ability to actually give a fuck about something besides your weight, your ability to connect with the reason why you want to lose weight in the first place, your ability to bring mindfulness into your day to day. All that we're actually talking about at the core of anything related to our health or our weight is how to bring mindfulness into the present moment of our lives. That's it. You'll never meet a mindful, present person that is fat or that has an unhealthy relationship with food. Literally ever. Buddha, someone said this to me, made me laugh so hard and actually question this. Buddha is depicted as being fat. It's a false depiction. If you look it up, it's been proven that it's a false depiction. Buddha, one of the most mindful people maybe ever, actually was not fat, but he was depicted as being fat. He was a healthy body weight. But there's a reason why. Right? There's a reason why you don't see these people being obese, and it's because they have mindfulness and presence in their life where food is not the thing that they're getting off on with dopamine. Someone was telling me the other day that this podcast is all over the place. Someone was telling me, this is what I miss though. This is what I miss because this is actually my most authentic tone. I'm so glad that I had this realization and that I went back and listened to some of my own episodes, because this is the level of rantiness that makes me love this. And you can even hear my difference in tonality here than in the previous episodes. And gosh, I'm so glad, because it's helping me find the passion for podcasting. And I just, I felt like I lost it the last few episodes, but I'm back, baby. Someone told me the other day, people tell me this a lot on Instagram, that I'm a hippie. And they say it in a way, I laugh every time, because people talk shit to me all the time on Instagram. Typically, every single person that talks shit to me on Instagram is somebody that is fat. And keeping in mind, I've been on both sides of this, right? Is somebody that is fat, that is committed to a very strict way of losing weight, I've never had anybody that had lost weight and kept it off one time, literally one time, question what I was saying to me in a negative way or say anything negative to me about my content or my messaging. All of it comes from people that are really getting triggered by the shit that I'm talking about, which like makes total sense because that was me. When I talk, it's not that I'm talking down to these people. It's that I'm seeing myself in these people because I was so fucking upset when I would see other people lose weight and I would just refuse to even believe that that was possible for me the way that they did it. So it would trigger the fuck out of me. And then I would talk shit to them. I was like, when I was a teenager, this was a long fucking time ago, I would see people online lose weight. When I was in college, in my 20s, I would see people lose weight. And I would like literally, in my head, I would talk shit to them and be like, fuck that person. Instead of just letting myself be inspired, I would just say, fuck that person. And yeah. And then just all the reasons they could that I couldn't. And it was one time, for the first time ever, I got inspired when I heard a story about somebody named David Goggins who had lost weight and kept the weight off. And he did it in a very stern, very strict, very disciplined way and still lives in that discipline to this day. His teachings are actually a lot of how I've learned to become who I am. In that I went that all or nothing approach as well. He lost a bunch of weight, became an ultra marathon runner, and then found balance. Right. So it's my journey was not always this perfect fucking thing. It was what I'm coaching you through is a lot of what I did, a lot of the methods of what I did, but what I would have done differently in the shortcuts that I would have taken had I known, had anybody been speaking in this way about how it doesn't have to be so fucking all or nothing. Now, when you properly satiate your body, for a fucking 4 days, for literally 4 days, you're going to stop having cravings and then you can start working on your relationship with food and accept that you're going to lose 1 to 2 pounds a week and you're going to keep the fucking weight off forever. Give yourself a year to lose 50 pounds. Give yourself 2 years to lose 100 pounds. Otherwise, you're going to die and be stuck in the journey of the loop of losing weight and gaining it back forever and being obsessed with how fast you're losing it and the cravings and the trying to out-discipline weight loss. You can out-discipline weight loss. People like David Goggins have out-disciplined weight loss. They still exist in the discipline of working out 10 times per week. I'm not exaggerating, running miles and miles and miles every day. It's really extreme. That's just not what I wanted. Right? I'm extreme in all areas of life outside of weight loss and food. It's like, it doesn't need to be that extreme. This is something that you can find balance with. It is. And anyway, back to what I was talking about. People online tell me that I'm a hippie, and I laugh at first because they mean it like an insult, like the tonality. People will send me a voice note and be like, you fucking hippie. And I'm like, I laugh because I think it's a compliment. In this concept, like I'm stepping into my rich hippie era. I'm in my healthy hippie era, and there's a reason why hippies aren't fat. There just is. And there's a reason why hippies have good skin. And there's a reason why hippies live a little longer. They just seem like kind of happier, and it doesn't mean you have to be a hippie. But I think there's a lot that we can learn from mindfulness and presence. There's a lot that we can learn from just getting control of our lives by first getting control of what we're putting into our own bodies, which so drastically impacts how we feel about ourselves and our hormones and all of the other shit that's really specific that we don't talk about with the common sense framework because it just gets too in the weeds. But common sense, we know that when we eat more whole, real, natural foods that we're going to feel better. We're going to have less cravings. But for some reason, it just feels like we just can't do it. But you can. It's just a story. The reason why is because you haven't fully let go of the identity of you being stuck in someone that's fat, in this fat suit that you're wearing, and you're still comparing yourself to other people that aren't you. If you were to only compare yourself to yourself 30 days ago, you would lose weight and keep it off. And you just did that your whole life. Every single life you did a 1 month check-in and you went back and looked at all the videos. That's what it would be like. When I started coaching a year ago, I didn't really know what I was doing. I knew how to lose weight and keep it off, but I'd never guided someone else through that. Coaching someone on doing something and coaching someone through something isn't the same thing. Do I have a massive advantage because I understand the mindset of my clients in a way that someone that hasn't done it doesn't understand? Of course I do. Does that further qualify me than any random like trainer or fitness influencer? Like, yes, of course it does. But that doesn't mean that I knew how to help people. I just knew how to help myself. So it was a learning curve for me, right? And it's the same thing. When I started coaching, it's the exact same as my weight loss journey. Okay, I have an idea of what I should do. I don't know exactly how to do it. What's the common sense approach? I just took the common sense approach to coaching. It's the exact same thing. And then I get better and better and better every single month. Now it's been almost a year. And now the clients that I'm working with are seeing substantial results because I have stepped a lot closer into mastery with my one-on-one clients and a lot more into understanding what they're going to need before they even get there. And a lot more of understanding based on their tonality on what they're going through and what they might be going through that they aren't even sharing. Right? And from my own experience, but also from the experience of all the other people that I've been coaching for the last year or so, you get better at things over time. Let yourself have your journey. You don't need to be perfect right now. I let myself have my coaching journey. You know, when I first started coaching, I didn't talk about it that much on the podcast because I didn't have really great reference points to success of my clients. Now I have a fuck ton of clients that have seen crazy success and talk about how crazy their life is and how they feel like they're living the lifestyle of a healthy person in a way they didn't know was possible. So now I can come and speak to you with confidence that, yes, this is who I am. Yes, I feel great about this. Yes, people deserve this. And I feel good about talking to you about it and helping you figure out if this is right for you. When I first started, it was like, I don't know, I got to figure this out. It's the same thing with weight loss. As you start building more reference points, now I have reference points as a coach that make me feel really amazing about my coaching abilities. When I was losing weight, I was practicing building reference points of health by putting together doing healthy things day after day, week after week. I had a healthy month. That healthy month is a reference point where when things get hard, I look back at my reference point and remind myself of who I really am and that I can do this because I just did. For a full month. So this is why I say weight loss is the ultimate teacher, because everything that I ever needed to know about my own life, everything I ever wanted was in the journey of the reference points that I built through weight loss. You adopt that frame, it requires you to zoom out and you'll be able to see how not serious things are in the minute to minute, but just how serious and impactful this journey can be for your life. Let yourself have your fucking journey. Let this be the journey where every single thing that you are looking for is right here. All the confidence, all the self-belief, all of the knowing, all of the surrender of the timeline, all of the surrender of the outcome, all of the joy, all of the self-love, all of the pride, all of the connection to yourself, all of the connection to other people, all of the speaking ability, all of the ability to look people in the eyes, the ability to go after what the fuck you really want, that guy you want, that girl you want, that I want to be a father, that claiming how much money you want to make, whatever the fuck it is. How are you going to be able to do those things when you're stuck in the insecurity of your own body? And when you're stuck in the thought of, oh, I should be losing weight. Oh, food controls me. Oh, should I go drive out 34 minutes to get my favorite fucking ice cream? Like, the fuck are you talking about, right? From love. Feel the sternness in my tonality change there. This is something that I practice through weight loss. Meet myself with sternness and love. The sternness comes from a place of I hold myself to a standard of health and to a certain standard as a coach, right? And this is how I speak to myself. This is how I teach and train and coach my clients and guide them through how to speak to themselves in a way that is stern and that is loving and that actually inspires you to want to change your own life in a way that is sustainable. To put a loop on the topic of this podcast, comparing yourself to other people's natural. Even feeling jealous of other people's journeys, which I did my whole life, is really natural. When you find yourself thinking those things, pause, bring mindfulness into that moment, take one big breath, and say out loud, the only person it makes sense for me to compare myself to is myself from 30 days ago. You do that with weight loss, you will start doing it as a default in every single other area of your life. Watch your finances change, watch your relationships change, watch your confidence change, watch your body change, watch the pull that food has on you change in real time and document it with videos. If you made it to the end of the episode, really appreciate you being a listener and really excited to continue releasing these episodes for each and every single one of y'all. If we haven't met yet, send me a message on Instagram and introduce yourself, and I will respond with equal effort. If you send me a video, I'll send you a video back. Send me a voice note, I will send you a voice note back. You absolutely have what it takes to lose weight. you absolutely have what it takes to keep the weight off forever. See y'all next week.